All right. Today we've got a few things to discuss as we now know Josh Naylor's details for that long deserved contract of his. We also did recently have a press conference from the Washington Nationals' newly hired uber young manager, Blake Butera. And we're going to talk about that dynamic. And as well, we're just going to close this off with a quick story about somebody that I think may become a Hall of Famer at one point. But for right now, let's just admire the Hall of Famers that we recognize and that we admire. And a couple, or maybe one of which, is really close with somebody that we have a really, really cool story about. So don't go nowhere. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. Yeah. So, like I said, Blake Butera had his had his little press conference yesterday, and I mean it was a press conference. But let's before we talk about that, because that was yesterday. Even though I think that's interesting because that's happening in a time where it feels like there's a lot of folks who seem to be having babies. Like Blake Butera, from what I understand, had a child the day before he signed his contract, which is nuts. Like, can you imagine you in the delivery room? You're like, baby, push, push. Hold on. We almost done. All right, hold on. How many million? Nah, hold on. Baby, push, push, push. Come on, man. Hey, but it's good for you, man. I'm happy for you. Even though some have compared him to maybe a combination of Woody from Toy Story and Buzz Lightyear. I don't know what's going on there, but it is what it is. All righty. Let's go ahead and get the facts about the way. Blake Butera was working with the Tampa Bay Rays for quite a while, even helped along with those Italians when it was time for the WBC, right next to Mike Piazza, even did some work along with the Dominican Republic. So you got to give him a little bit of credit for that. That's kind of cool. But it is kind of interesting that he does have this position now as a young manager, but I'm not going to sit here and talk trash on young managers. I'm going to tell you why, because the manager of my St. Louis Cardinals is hella young. In fact, he was one of the youngest to be named manager when he was in his 30s. So, I mean, well, at least at the time, not ever, but just at the time. Okay, don't go misquoting me. So I'm interested to see how this turns out, especially since he has such a young core. Him and everybody else out there in the Washington Nationals, I'm eager to see how he's able to convey his messaging to players like Josh Allen. That's Josh Allen. Excuse me, Josh. Bell, as well as my man CJ Abrams, and obviously the new slugger out in left field, James Woods. Not that those are the only players they got. Obviously, there's a whole pitching staff, but looking forward to see what these Washington Nationals do. Even though this ain't gonna be the year that I think they make it. We're far removed from 2019 when they had their World Series run, but good on you, my friend. Good luck to you and everybody else in the toy factory. I bid thee adieu, and I hope that you have the best season you possibly can have. On to the next. Now let's go ahead and get on that contract, right? So that's what we really want to talk about. Josh Naylor, the bomber, the excitement, the crack element, if you will. What makes you addicted to those Mariners is the speedy which way they've adopted, Mr. Josh Naylor. Woo-hoo! It's a big deal, folks. Congratulations. So, as I said yesterday, for those who didn't watch, if you did, please make sure you leave a comment. If you did not, man, hey, why you ain't watch? I think it's interesting that Josh Naylor has been on this trek, and now he finally has somewhere to lay his head for the next few years. He ain't got to worry about looking for a rent, looking for storage, things of that sort. And like I said yesterday, he is actually going to be close to his Canadian border. So I know he is uber happy about that. Couple things I wanted to tell y'all about Mr. Josh Naylor's contract, so we can all be in the know with regard to what it is that's going on. I would like to quote for you an article by Mr. Dane Perry, all right, of the CBS Sports Kind, which says Josh Naylor resigns with Mariners on a 5-year, $92.5 million contract in winter's first major free agency signing. What does that mean? That means that this could set the market. All right. We now know what a first baseman that can get you through the ALCS and you want to be around for 5 years is worth. And this is what a lot of agents are going to use to pitch to the people that they want to pick up their players. So I'm looking at you, Pete Alonso. I'm looking at you, Cal Schwarber. I'm looking at y'all like, oh, I'm looking at you, Goldsmith. Yeah. 92.5 for 5 years. All right, let's get a little bit into it. So the article speaks a little bit further about how the Mariners re-signed him to a 5-year contract on the free agent market. It announced Monday that they're going to give this deal to him worth $92.5 million and includes a no trade clause, according to Fansided. This marks the first major free agent signing of the offseason. Now, Naylor ain't but 28 years old. He's coming off a 2025 season in which he slashed. He had a 295 batting average. All right, 353 OPS and a 353 OBP and a 462 OPS in a combined 147 games, many of which are for the Diamondbacks. And of course, he finished the season with the Mariners, as we all know. Now, after the trade, his OPS of 138 in 54 regular season games, en route to the Mariners winning their American League West title for the first time. Actually, Naylor ended up batting .417 in the ALCS, even though they lost that series. Now, I think you could see, once again, as I stated yesterday, one of the biggest things about Josh Naylor isn't just his stats, isn't just his baseball IQ, but it is his energy. It's everything he brings to the table. It's his savvy. It's his excitement. It's what makes folks look at the Mariners and say, I want to come and watch a game. All right. He is a perfect complement to Julio Rodriguez out there with his no-fly zone, who usually literally treats the no-fly zone like his own personal stage. He's out there talking to him, turns around, hey, no-fly zone. Now they have somebody else with added intensity that's not all playful, because Julio is all playful. He's all, oh, cutesy wootsy. Oh, I got gold eyes. I'm going to trounce around and I'm going to hold up the trident. Now they got somebody who like, man, if you don't rock that baby and get that little trident up out my face and give Dan Wilson a helmet so I can headbutt his ass after the, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's who y'all dealing with right now. So I'm geeked up to see what happens. But what this does make me question is, what direction are you now going in, Seattle? Because you got two other dudes that you might want to consider adding to this sauce. The same flavor that got you up to the ALCS. You don't think that's going to be the same flavor you need? Now, I know the teams can't always look identical, but y'all got a good squad, right? So what's the holdup on Eugenio? What's the holdup on Jorge Polanco? Jorge, I could see a little bit. I know he's upticking, but y'all did not make it that far in the ALCS without Jorge Polanco. I would focus heavily on pitching if I were y'all, and also maybe talking about looking at shortstop. As much as I love JP, I love you, JP, like legit, especially as one of the only black representatives on the Seattle Mariners team, black American that is. I know he's from LA, but I think they might be able to give JP at least some competition. I think your third base, your first base, you get Eugenio, you're in good shape. But I don't know, man, about trying to run it all back. Those two corners are big bats. And so I think you might want to consider heavily not necessarily losing that core, and maybe, just maybe, running it back with the overwhelming majority of the folks you had on that roster for the ALCS. Now, that being said, good luck to you and have a good time out there in Seattle, Mr. Josh Naylor, and all the Seattle folks. Y'all had a whirlwind of a year. I can only hope that y'all get to run it back. All right, and let's go ahead and keep this moving. I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up with this right here. My last item for the day. As of recent, you all may have been informed that the Hall of Fame nominees, or should I say the candidates, have been announced for the upcoming season, the 2026 season. And on that list, you'll see a lot of folks that you may recognize, some that you may admire, some that you like, some more than others. But I actually have a quick story to tell, because this brings me into a moment. Do you know how sometimes you'll just kind of unlock a memory or unlock, and just the portion of your brain that made you forget about something that happened, or maybe you just oh, I remember that smell, or hey, that reminds me of that song. Well, this for some reason took me back. So when I look at the list of those that are on the Hall of Fame ballot for 2026, there's a few names that stand out. All right, I do see you, Bobby Abreu. Carlos Beltran obviously is a former Cardinal, even though he wasn't there that long. Andrew Jones, man, how can you not talk about Andrew Jones in Atlanta? One of the best center fielders, and he was out there with the Griff and all them. Ed Hunter Pence, I see you. Torrey Hunter, man, I still think of Torrey Hunter as an angel for some reason, but I know he was big with the Twins. Andy Pettit, yeah, Man Ram is on there, and I know he has some issues. Well, at least some people hold that against him. A-Rod, the same ordeal, but David Wright, okay, but and Dustin Pedroia, Daniel Murphy as well, who's on my Diamond Dynasty team when I play the show on PS5. By the way, I'm in Kung Fu Vinny if you want to come get served. And I'm not that good. I play on Rookie because it's really hard to play on Legend, but I still can if I need to. Now, what draws my attention, what really I want to call attention to is the bottom portion. At the bottom right-hand side, if you all look really closely, you'll notice at the bottom right-hand corner, a young man by the name of Jimmy Rollins. Yes, J-Roll, as we call him, was kind of like the second coming of Ken Griffey, in my opinion. And I was not a Philadelphia Phillies fan, still am not, and never will be. But J-Roll was a young dude. He was fast. He was one of the first that I saw hit the 2020 or 30-30 club, right? And they did end up winning in the early 2000s. I think it was 06 or no, it wasn't 06 because we won in 06. I think it was 08 or 09. Quote me. Now, one of the main reasons I know Jimmy Rollins is because as a dude from St. Louis, even though I live in Florida now, I tend to follow the folks that come from St. Louis. Like, even if you're not on the Cardinals, right? Like right now, I know Jake Berger. I'll be following you. I'll be watching. Yeah, I know. I'll be seeing y'all out there, Jake Berger. You should have been come play with us. And I'm looking at Tony Vitello like, oh, I'm watching. Yeah, you best believe the St. Louis folks, Devin Williams, I'm watching. Yeah, I see. I know what's going on. I'm looking everywhere a St. Louis person is. I am in the mix. There am I. And one of these dudes is from St. Louis, and it's not J-Roll. My man Ryan Howard, slugger, banger. This dude was everything back in the day. Am I wrong? Like, this dude came out and was hitting all kind of home runs all over the place, to the fact that I remember on one of the interviews he was talking about, he did with Up in Smoke, he talked about how Allen Iverson saw him one time and was like, oh, you that big nigga be hitting all them home runs. Yeah, so I remember Mr. Ryan Howard because he from the Lou, y'all. And so it was so cool to see him do what it was that he was doing back in the day, because I was proud, especially since the Cardinals, even though they was real good back then, I still felt like they could have used him. All right. So when I'm sitting here looking at this J-Roll being put on the Hall of Fame, I can't help but wonder, is my man Ryan Howard ever going to get put in the Hall of Fame? As you see him right here doing the baby bird for my Cardinals fans, does he deserve it? I believe so. What, I know these dudes is hella young, you know what I'm saying? I mean, oftentimes you got to go through the ballot a few times if you're not like a first ballot Hall of Famer like Ichiro or CC Sabathia. So it's probably going to be a little bit, but I just wanted to share my adoration for Ryan Howard real quick and just leave y'all with a real quick story, if you don't mind. So, as you may know, I've been blessed to be able to work in a capacity where I can kind of service in the media sphere. And in one of my most recent trips, I was able to go with my homeboy, J.R. Gamble, to Alabama to see the East-West Classic game that MLB had put together, in which we were able to see folks like Ryan Howard and CC Sabathia. You see Prince Fielder. Look at Dusty Baker right there. You got Mike Cameron. You got Andrew Jones right there. You even got CY from MLB Network. I say that like he didn't actually play ball too. And look at it. I can sit here and go on about everybody that's on this list, but pay attention to the one with the red underneath the jersey. You notice that? The one with the red underneath the jersey? Yeah, that would be one Mr. Ryan L. Howard III. I made the L up. Don't hold that against me. And I just thought that was real cool that I was put in a position to be able to be my star. I met a lot of folks this go around, but obviously this one stuck with me. So if y'all wouldn't mind, I'd love to just indulge and talk a little bit about this experience. So I got to meet a whole bunch of these dudes, like I said, right? It was a pleasure just to be in the presence, and I got to watch them take BP, do home run derby, do a bunch of crazy stuff. Got to interview Prince Fielder. I got to interview CC Sabathia. That interview is live right now on my Instagram at The Real Vince Taylor. But I sought out Ryan Howard because that's my dog. And I wanted to see a couple things. A, how St. Louis are you still? Now that you done been with the Phillies and you done went and did all these other things, how much St. Louis do you still got in you? So a couple of my intentions were to figure out how St. Louis he was, and then also to see if I could test the waters of maybe getting him to come into a coaching role in the Cardinals clubhouse, even if it's just a minor batting coach role. So I think it was, fairly productive. But here's what the man said to me, and y'all tell me if I got what I wanted out of this interview right here.
Ryan, man, home run derby, man. What happened, man?
Just ain't have it today.
It ain't today? Okay.
Couldn't get the lower body going today.
Okay.
It be like that sometimes.
Maybe a little fried rice? Little fried rice?
Hey, bro, you give me some of that fried rice, St. Paul, it could be a different story. That's like that, like Popeye had his spinach.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
That was your favorite St. Louis dish, the fried rice?
Yeah, that's St. Paul.
St. Paul? Okay,
yeah.
You do the toasted ram?
Oh, yeah, just believe it.
The emo?
Yeah. Believe it.
What kind of St. Paul you get?
I'm usually getting either pork St. Paul.
The pork?
Yeah, pork St. Paul.
All right.
Pork fried rice.
So if by chance I had connections and could get you as maybe, I don't know, a hitting coach for the Cardinals who could use some help right now?
Nah.
Would you answer that call?
Man, I don't know. I got the little ones at the house.
Yeah.
So right now it's just it's looking after the fam. So
okay,
but I'll be watching from afar.
All right. Well, I'll be watching the 611 podcast,
yes,
and
sir.
I'm gonna tell your boy Jimmy, he missed out on a chance, man.
We gotta get him out here.
Jimmy, next time you ain't got no dance classes. Come on, J-Roll. What's up, man? All right, man. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yo, come on, man. So I get to, and I ain't gonna lie, you should have seen my face, man. I went over right after this, and I found G, and I was like, I get to interview folks on the regular. I ain't gonna lie, I've had I've been blessed in that manner, but I still am just a little kid in the candy shop, and I get starstruck real easy, and I try to maintain it, but it's not always easy. So I literally just sat and had to just maintain the fact that Ryan Howard just gave me hella love, and it wasn't giving me the Hollywood shove either. Like, he was into it a little bit. I felt like it, but that wasn't where it ended. And this is where it got real interesting to me. So I had that moment with Ryan Howard, and then after that moment I had with Ryan Howard, to my surprise, I think he sought me out later. And he came to finish the interview, or just give me more details, or just to tell me more, because maybe he was vibing off of the St. Louis vibe. I mean, when you got 314 in you, got 314 in you. And if you don't know, for my folks who don't come from the Lou, we, for some reason, hold our Chinese food in such high regard. What I'm talking to him about in that particular moment is the St. Louis style cuisine that we get from our Chinese food shops. And there's a St. Paul sandwich, which is just a fried, it's just a, I can't even describe it. This is, me a dude from University City, man. I came up off a street called 82nd, or we call it 8 Deuce. Okay, and at the edge of Olive and 8 Deuce, there's a little restaurant called Chonghua. And I used to walk and ride my bike over to Chonghua, get me a St. Paul and the special fried rice with extra, caliente, well, they used to just call it pepper, but we call it cayenne now. So it was dope to see that he knew about the St. Paul. Because that's the St. Louis thing, kind of like Toasted Rab and Emo's Pizza. I also mentioned Emo's in that regard. You saw that, right? So imagine my excitement when the man next to Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley here finds me after all is done to give me part 2 of this interview, where he goes to tell me a funny story about what happened when he first got into the league and he had to adapt to cuisine outside of St. Louis, which I thought was real cool. Now, St. Louis folks, you're going to feel this, but tell me what y'all think about this league.
I tried to get some Chinese food before I went to the ballpark, so I called the place. I was like, hey, yeah, let me get a St. Paul sandwich. And,
in Baltimore?
Yeah, in Baltimore. And it's like, what? They didn't know. I was like, I didn't realize that it was just a St. Louis thing.
Yeah, man, yeah. You can't take the St. Louis.
See, but that's being a rookie. That's being a rookie in the league coming up, so I learned.
But now you can order your own St. Paul.
That's it.
You can make your own St. Paul restaurant.
That's true.
Bring it to Philly.
That's true. But they got it's the secret herbs and spices.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they do. You know how they do.
It's something with the rice.
Something in the rice. It's brown.
The rice has got to be on point. That's key.
Appreciate you. Right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Oh, my God. Too much is happening right now.
Yeah, man. So my man gave me the full story real quick. I was wondering why I had extra heads in here. Shout out to the New Blurred Order. I accidentally put this on the YouTube. I just noticed that I did. I try to keep the stream separate, but Ty keeps telling me I need to stop doing that. So maybe I should just do more of these. But yeah, this is all about baseball. You would like my yesterday thing. I brought in Star Trek and how that actually influenced or maybe predicted some of the Asian dominance that we have here in the current MLB sphere. But I digress. I just wanted to show how dope it was for me, a baseball fan, being able to meet one of my baseball heroes, and they actually did not disappoint. Sometimes I meet some folks and I'm like, damn, man, their character is way better than their character. You know what I'm saying? But in this particular instance, like I said, my man Ryan did not disappoint. So shout out to my man Ryan Howard. Shout out to my man Jay Roll up there as well. Shout out to the Hall of Fame ballot. Good luck to those of y'all who may or may not make it. It is an honor just to be even included on the ballot, if I am mistaken. Shout out to Blake Butera, all right, and good luck with the Washington Nationals. You got your work cut in for your homeboy. They didn't have like one of the worst records in the league in the last few years. And big shout out, of course, to Josh Naylor and his new 5-year contract, just in time to feed that baby. Because like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of folks out here, for whatever reason, having babies right now. Let me stop. It's always good to have children. All right. It's an honor. It's a privilege. And if you are blessed with the child, then I hope you truly enjoy every last minute of it. As for me, I'm going to do this little thing every little day, every time that I can. Just talk a little ball and just, speak on whatever newsworthy elements may be in the midst, or maybe about some things that may have happened in the past, just so we can kind of keep this thing on the uptick. But I'm the real Vince Taylor. Sincerely appreciate y'all. Till next time we meet at the ball game. Dudes.